Are you learning how to crochet? In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the double crochet. The double crochet is one of the most popular stitches in crochet. This is because it covers up a little bit more space, so it's faster to do. It also looks pretty cool. I do have a video on how to start a crochet chain, and I will link that video below. The video for how to do a single crochet, I will link up here in the top right now. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to do the double crochet. Of course, if you like this kind of content and would like to see more of it, please do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. First things first, let me go over some of the materials that we will be using today. The yarn that I'm going to be using today is a Caron Simply Soft. It is a size 4 medium, and it recommends using a size H hook. The color here is Periwinkle. It's kind of like a light blue color. Of course, Simply Soft does have a little bit of a metallic sheen to it. The packaging recommends a crochet hook size H. It's also my experience with Caron Simply Soft that size H is my preferred crochet hook size. So that's what I'm going to be using today. Let's get started. We're going to start out making a slip knot. I will link the video below on how it is that I prefer to make my slip knots. We're going to be doing a practice square. A practice square is something that I recommend all beginners do. It helps you to better understand how to stop and start rows. It also helps you practice with your tension to make sure that your piece actually comes out flat and in a square. One thing I do recommend that people do is to use a crochet hook that is one size up for your initial chain, because you do not want it to be too tight. So I'm going to be using a size I for my initial chain. So to get started, we're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to swap out to the H hook at this point. So the way that I like to change rows is I like to chain 2 for my double crochet. Some people will like to chain 3. That's their preference, but I like to chain 2. So it's better to think of it as having 10 on your initial chain and then doing your chain 2 right after that as part of your next row. So 1, 2. But now that we've chained 2, we want to go back to make sure that we're getting it into the right stitch. Here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain from the hook. We want to go into the second chain from the hook. So for double crochet, we're going to wrap the yarn, and you can use your thumb to kind of hold it in place. And then there's our first stitch from the hook. Here's our second. That's the one that we're going to go into first. So with it wrapped, go in. So you're going to grab your yarn and start to pull it through. But of the 3 loops that are on your hook at the moment, you're only going to be pulling it through the first 2, like this. Okay? And so now, once you pull it back up, you'll have 2 loops on your hook. You'll wrap the yarn again at that point, and at this point, you will pull it through all of the loops. So let's do that one more time. We're going to wrap, go into the stitch, bring up a loop, like this. So we'll have 3 on the hook. Wrap your yarn, bring it through the first 2. Okay, wrap your yarn again and bring it through the last 2. Another time, wrap, go into the stitch, wrap, bring up, wrap, bring through the first 2, wrap, bring through the last 2. We're going to do this all the way to the end of the row. So there is our first row of double crochet. Now let me show you how to do the next row. To start the next row for double crochet, I like to chain 2 and then flip my piece. So this is your starting point for the second row. In single crochet, we went into that first stitch. However, in double crochet, we will be skipping this first stitch, but we're still going to count our stitches out. We're going to be doing 10. The difference is this initial chain 2 counts as your first stitch. So yarn over, skipping the first stitch, going into the second stitch first. All right, bring it up, wrap, bring it through the first 2, wrap, bring it through the last 2. So 1, 2, because again, we're counting our first chain 2 as our first stitch. So we're in stitch 1, stitch 2. Here's stitch 3, wrap, in, up, wrap through 2, wrap through 2, wrap, next stitch, up, wrap through the first 2, wrap through the last 2, wrap, in the next stitch, wrap, bring up, wrap through the first 2, wrap through the last 2. Good thing with double crochet, it's a little bit easier to see. So here's our first chain 2. We'll count that as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This next one is 6. Here's 7. Here's 8. Here's 9. And here's 10. Remember, the last stitch looks a little funky, but make sure that you're going into the stitch like you would normally and that there's 2 strands on top. Wrap, bring up, wrap through the first 2, wrap through the last 2. So let's go back and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then that first chain counts as 10. And looks pretty flat so far, so that's good. So we're going to start our third row. We're going to start by chaining 2. All right, now we're going to flip the work. There we go. The first chain 2 counts as our first stitch. And remember, we are going to be skipping this first stitch right here. All right, here we go. Third row. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but we've got to do one more stitch. This space at the end doesn't look like a regular stitch, but we are going to be going in right there. The stitch itself is the same. Wrap, and then try to get 2 strands. And you're in. Wrap up through the first two. Wrap through the last two. And look at how nice and even that edge is when you get that stitch in there at the end. So there we go. Not too bad. The edges look nice. The corners look nice. And our tension looks good throughout. So again, for beginners, I do encourage you to make these practice squares. If you guys have any questions, please do drop them in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Stay tuned for more content on yarn related stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.